Oh shit! You remember everything?
What I'm gonna say? I'm gonna poo-poo on most of it, really.
Are you? On all of it?
There's a lot that I was like, come on. Really? That's a good intro.
Yeah.
Oh, we're recording?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, there's a lot that I was like, really?
Really?
A lot of it was because it was time.
On all mediums.
Yeah, I guess. Like, the comic story holds up, but the style does not.
Yeah.
And the characters do not. And then there's a lot of filler, right? But what I do like about every movie that did it properly is just having Superman and Doomsday crash through entire cities and towns. Just
You're giving it away before we even introed.
That's how crazy this episode is. Back at it like we never left. Coke and Dank, Dank and Coke. It's the super hour.
The super hour. Hey, Dank.
Hey, Coke.
What do you get if you cross the Man of Steel with a chowder?
What do I get if I cross Man of Steel with the chowder?
Superman.
You can describe my face right now. Because there are no words.
Where does Superman go potty?
Where does Superman go potty?
In the super can.
Hey,
You
got a worse face than the first one.
Who would Superman say you should never hire to repair your lawn?
Who should Superman say I should never...
Who would Superman say?
I should hire...
You should never hire.
Never hire to repair my lawn.
Yeah.
Who?
General Sod.
Alright, that's pretty good.
Which I don't agree with because if his name's General Sod,
You would want
I'd let him do the lawn. Yeah.
You could have called Audible right there, man.
Yeah.
Like, who does Superman endorse to do lawn care? General Sod.
One more. What does Superman like even more than New Year's Eve?
This better be good.
Christopher Reeves.
It wasn't, but I like the guy.
I don't know why I love that one either.
I like the guy.
Christopher Reeves.
It's Christopher
punchline.
Reeves. It's
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves. One of our generation's true Superman.
The Superman.
A
I was waiting to see
Superman.
you
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. He's had the best Superman live action movie. Something that we're not talking about today at all.
No, remember a long time ago we did a few weeks ago we did the three DC films.
Years ago.
And we left the Death of Superman out.
I thought you were going to say a lot. Do you remember a long time ago when people made comics? I was going to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Hey, do you like comics?
Hey, man. Hey, Coke. Hey, Dank.
Well,
yeah, I do remember when we left a bookmark or a placeholder for
It was a few weeks ago. This is that bookmark.
Yeah, I think
We've come full circle.
I think they caught up that we're doing Superman.
No, they don't know.
Oh, okay.
I had to let them know.
Yeah, you did.
I did, and I just done did it. This is the book.
It's been a while. It has been a while, sir.
Back at it again.
I don't know about that anymore. This might be the last time.
So it's the Death of Superman.
This is draft day. I'll get a new co-host who does editing.
We did this as a single episode or a standalone episode for itself because it was a big fucking deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah. It was a really big deal back in the day, the comic arc.
Yeah, because Superman dies. I don't know if we've mentioned that at all, but we've watched several movies and read a few comic issues about this cataclysmic event.
And it was a huge marketing thing.
93. Yeah, well, you're killing your premier superhero.
And nobody done that before.
No, and
not on this scale,
and not to this caliber of superhero, because superheroes have fallen wayside, and Batman has lost sidekicks, but to take out a Superman, like one of your money making machines, the symbol of hope, the pinnacle of your DC universe, before you even had a universe, just your DC comic book franchise, is madness.
You can say this was the biggest event in comics ever.
I don't know, when Howard the Duck first launched.
Okay, so this is the second biggest event in comics.
And then Throg.
Ever.
Throg, when that frog picked up Thor's hammer.
Okay, this is the third biggest comic event in comics.
I have a
ever.
list. I have a list of animals.
This is the entire episode, guys. We're just gonna keep bumping it down until it's 69th. Heyo.
Heyo.
No, this is the biggest thing.
Yep.
The biggest event ever. There'll never be one as big as this.
No.
It was
to this level.
Yeah, and it was
to this response to when comic books mattered.
I was gonna say it was the time. It had to do with the timeline in the 90s, early to mid 90s. Early to mid 90s.
Yeah, 93.
And 93. Thank you.
Prime time. The prime timeline when people were still reading and people trading cards and like comic book cartoons were starting to hit the mainstream. Long before movies were even.
Was DC struggling? That's why they did that, right? They brought this out because they were struggling a bit, and they went no.
Right, and
sales up.
I don't want to say. Oh yeah, and they were taking a dip in their movie franchises because this would have been the time where Superman 4 would have came out, which is terrible. Superman versus like the Sun Guy. And
Joe Schumacher was doing Batman movies at this point, right? Because Tim Burton was
87.
Was he 87 and 91?
87, 90. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's either 85 or 87.
I thought Batman was 89.
No, because I know we weren't alive.
We weren't alive yet.
We weren't like conscious enough to want to go see this movie, right? Like it wasn't
89. Batman 89 and so Batman Returns is 92.
I wouldn't have got an R-rated ticket. The tender age of 4. But I don't know. Didn't Schumacher kick in until like 97, like 98? I think he was late 90s.
I think
when was Forever?
Forever was 95.
All right, so you're not far off around the time, but little did they know. So Batman has been cooled, basically.
He cooled off.
He's on the show.
He cooled off, is what we're getting at.
They're not touching Wonder Woman. If you haven't heard if you haven't listened to our
episode 10,
women in comics and movies, they haven't touched those. So they're like, what do we do now? Let's do something that we would never think of doing. And as a reader, you would never think of all the characters to kill off.
Well, that's the thing. It was their big guy.
He's
invincible.
He's your shiny Boy Scout, and you kind of set up that he can't be killed. So the fact that you're like, oh, he can't, kind of undoes the whole way that you think about comics and comic.
Oh, he can't, can he?
Yeah, that's. Wait till we get into the reviews of the movies. That's one of my big You've set up. Fuck it, I'm going in now. Spoilers.
Spoilers for everything to do with that.
Everything. If you don't, well, we talked about Superman die.
Do you want to talk about the comic last?
Well, it came first.
I
don't care.
You don't care.
Okay. Let me get this one thing out. You set up Superman to be this invulnerable man who has all these powers, to the point that they're like, oh fuck. Later down the line, we have to give him something that would defeat him because obviously there's nothing that can defeat him. So you set up that kryptonite is his one weakness. Fine, fair, I understand. This little green rock will fuck this dude up. Down the line, you decide, no, hey man, maybe if we can just get this big rock dude to beat him to death, that will work too. Yeah. The fuck? Like, that's the one thing you love and hate about comics is they set up all these rules and you buy into the world that they live, and they instantly just break them, and they're like, well, what the fuck was the point of the rules? Like. And then they had to like backtrack. Anyway, now I'm really getting ahead of myself. But
no, but you're right. You're right. It's
you created this mythos villainous kind of structure who like dummies your entire universe to get to Superman. Amazing. Like you set up Doomsday to be one of the best villains ever. But
formidable, one of the best, one of the most formidable for sure.
Thank you for correcting me. But in the whole mythos that you built about Superman, you just erased everything you've spent decades building with this Man of Steel. He's not really a Man of Steel.
No.
And all you had to really do is be like,
he's got kryptonite in his bones.
Thank you. Like, Doomsday has a kryptonite heart, or he's fucking, this one finger, touch the fucking kryptonite.
Or those spikes on him have a bit of kryptonite.
It's not hard to infuse kryptonite on him somewhere to be like, okay, now I can, this full circle. Right? But it's like, no, he's just super strong, super durable. He punched him to death. Fuck you, Superman.
Yeah,
You're not
he
that
punched him
strong. You're not my hero anymore. Fucking guy.
You were supposed to be the chosen one.
So I watched 3 movies about that, and then read a comic about that. I was like, every time it made me madder and madder.
You read the whole. I've read a bit of the comic, but you read the whole thing in preparation for this.
Yeah, it's a fun read because you look back at the lingo because the writers they say
93 lingo is comics from the old, like, it's hard. I'm sorry guys who love it, but it's reading them now today, especially for the first time, it's hard.
That doesn't hold up. The suits don't hold up, and the cast who was actually in the Justice League at that time definitely doesn't hold up.
Bunch of jobbers.
So it doesn't make it makes perfect sense that Doomsday just dummied through him. But I was like, where's the A class? Like, you don't think Green Lantern? I'm like, oh fuck, let me come on.
Well, that was one of the big complaints even back in the day. It's like, where's the Justice League?
Where's the Justice League?
This is before
This is C Squad.
This is before Grant Morrison made the Big Seven, though. So
okay.
That there is that.
But you still knew who sold. I doubt.
Right. I
doubt Maxima
yeah.
and Ice
and Guy Gardner
were pushing comics. Yeah, but this was Guy Gardner after he got kicked out of the GL. So like, how the fuck you make it on the Justice League after you get booted from the Lantern Corps? Like, that didn't even make sense. But funny to see him again. Like, that was the one comic relief. But it was like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle running the team. I was like, hold up a minute. these are A Squad dudes? Really? But like, again, so the comic was a fun read because it kind of breaks down in 2 parts. Doomsday crashes to Earth, and obviously Justice League B Squad goes to kind of find out what's going on there.
I remember reading the reason why they actually chose those characters is because they wanted Doomsday to
just dummy them and kill them off.
To actually kill some and really fuck some up. And they're like, we're not going to do that with Batman, so let's bring some leftovers from Justice League International.
Yeah, but throw in Wonder Woman there. Like, throw in someone someone on par with Superman.
Oh, Bloodwind didn't hold up?
He did. He stuck around, right? So, again, 2 parts. Justice League C Squad goes to kind of confront Doomsday and see what it is, while Superman is doing an interview on TV. So, like, they have these nice panels where Superman's talking with the talk show host about, like, oh, so you're the leader of the Justice League, and he's all kind of, not presidential,
do they ever mention where...
Diplomatic?
They don't ever mention where the actual Justice League is. Or are, right? Like Batman, Wonder Woman, they don't mention them?
No. There's no... Which is smart.
Yeah.
Don't. But I think that picks up in the issue right after, right? When they all come to the death. Anyway, I'm jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
So, during the interview, Superman's being all diplomatic about, like, oh no, this is a team. Obviously, I'm not the leader. There's several of us. And then you cut to Blue Beetle getting dummied and then Booster go dumb. It's like, I would call myself a leader in front of these guys. And then there's questions from the audience like, do you ever think there's going to be a time where you don't have to use violence to get your, like, to solve and, like, to save all these people? And Superman trying to be diplomatic again is like, I hope there can be a day where violence isn't the answer. And the next panel over is fucking Doomsday just thrashing and fucking body slamming superheroes left and right. So, like, it was a good like juxtaposition of what he wants, his ideals.
I like when they do that, yeah.
And where he's gonna bend, right? Like, the comic was a good character study of Superman's ideologies, because then he gets a call. He's like, oh fuck, I gotta go. And then as soon as he makes it on scene, it's just brawl, and like intersected with like different scenes of like this family in this household just like, hey Johnny, did you get your dinner today? He's like, no mom, leave me alone. Smash through the window, and it's like, oh fucking Superman, right? And like, so like that I loved, right? And constantly like people like, Superman help me. He's like, I'm trying to help you, but like I gotta deal with this motherfucker, and he's dummying my squad, and like the squad, like Blue Beetle his ship gets smashed, so he goes down, and then he gets so concussed that it breaks his suit. And then he's just like laying lifelessly as like Ice Lady's like, I gotta take him to a hospital. It's like, there's no time. Like, we gotta fight this dude. It's like, I think he's dying. It's like, so like I'm laughing at all this.
Later.
Clearly they're trying to set a tone of like Doomsday's not one to fuck around with, but all these guys keep trying to fuck around with him. But it's great. It keeps building and building and building until they finally get to Metropolis. Like, the whole point is to keep this beast away from a large populated city
of actual civilians, and yeah.
But you can't. He's gonna do what he gonna do. Is Doomsday. They give him the name and everything. And like the way that he lands, he's revealed. He punches himself out of, I don't know if it's a ship or something, but it's some sort of enclosed
It's
area.
like a vault, like underground,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and he's in like this kind of hazmat suit to like keep them all contained. But every time he encounters life, he like finds a way to kill it. So like a bird lands on his hand and he squishes it to death. He sees a deer and he chokes the neck of it. I was like, good lord, right? Like, so I'm laughing. Like, this is a great like build to who this
bad guy
who's gonna be, right? And every interaction he has with a Justice League C Squad member, like every time they try to do a blast to him, a piece of the suit kind of rips off, right? So it's like, oh, like they're slowly revealing who this monster is until the big final showdown in Metropolis where he's like buck ass naked. Well, no suit on, right?
Yeah, no suit on. Yeah.
I don't know if he has a gender specific. They didn't pay 93. They didn't really give you gonads and whatnot, and it's Superman slowly getting stripped down from his costume.
He was like a Ken doll. He was like a Ken doll with spikes.
Which would make sense to his anger levels because if I was a man that big and I didn't have a crotch, like
nothing,
like no. It's slowly, it's nice. It's like they peel him back slowly, his character and his motivations of like I just want to destroy, and then they kind of peel back Superman because he starts off with this big bright chest and the Superman S symbol on his chest. Yeah, it's a chest too many times. But then by the end of it, he's peeled down to like nothing. Like he doesn't have a cape anymore.
Just torn up.
He's bloodied. He's bodied. It's ripped into shreds, and apparently he can die when you get punched too many times.
Yeah,
but that was good.
But only by Doomsday.
Other than that stupid little comic book nerd thing, it's like, hey, wait a minute. It wasn't a kryptonite punch.
Well, actually, this isn't accurate because, and I'll tell you why.
But the build up to him just getting dummied was great.
And then the final pages is him dead, right?
Yeah, the final pages is of course Lois makes it onto the scene and is reporting on this with Jimmy Olsen.
They're engaged throughout this, right?
Yeah, they're definitely in some sort of cahoots because she's the last one who gets to kind of clutch him in his last breath, so he gets to say something sweet before he's done. But the last kind of pages are silhouetted or framed through the eye of Jimmy Olsen with his camera.
Yeah.
And then them in a chopper overhead, and then now Lois going to the ground and trying to see if she can kind of separate what's going on from like from like all the rubble and stuff like that, and like Superman just be like, I can't do it anymore, I'm gonna fucking die, like one last kiss. She's like, no, and boom, gets dummied.
Yeah.
And you get that nice image of the pole with Superman's shredded cape, just
on it, just whipping about in the wind,
and it kind of looks like a giving up flag
only
if it was white, but like he just couldn't do it. The man of steel couldn't do it. And then obviously the horror and the shock of all the faces of people around us, like their hero, the man that could do anything, and systematically that also happens throughout the comic. Like everyone starts because obviously the media shows up and starts showing this Doomsday character destroying the city, and everyone's like, don't worry, Superman's got this. Superman's got this. Yeah. Superman's got this. Everyone's kind of just like sitting back, waiting for Superman to get this, and he doesn't, right? Even to the point that like Supergirl shows up, she gets dummied. Guardian shows up, he gets dummied.
Oh, Supergirl isn't this?
She is. There's a weird panel where it looks like I don't know if I got like a weird issue when I was reading it online, but like she gets punched. And it looks like she like melts into like some alien thing. I was like, "What's going on?" Anyway, I kept moving forward.
Oh, it's I think it's a different version of Supergirl. I can't remember.
Like she's not whole. Like she's actually super alien like. And then they dummy like some sort of Lex Luthor store as well. And then there's jokes about like, well, Lex is gonna be mad at you breaking up his store. But I do like how everyone is just banking on him to come in and save the day, even though he can't. Like this is finally the time that he can't do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I want to make the sports analogy of like everyone just assumes that the Golden State Warriors are just gonna make it to the finals, gonna make it to the finals, until that day when someone's like, you know what, you guys aren't as strong as we thought you're not gonna make it to the finals. So.
Yeah, it was Matrix as Supergirl, so it's not actually Supergirl.
Fair enough. Thank you for the reference.
Protoplasmic life form.
Yeah, she got dummied, so you needed a real.
I remember reading that it's not. There was some sort of asterisk next to
so they really made DC really made a point to keep as many A-listers out of the scene as possible.
Oh yeah.
To survive.
Oh yeah.
For whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
Whatever they're building after the fact. But I think they could have used somebody. It wasn't even the real Lex Luthor. It wasn't even the real Superman.
It was
Like there's that controversy that we'll inevitably get to. So I don't want to jump supreme guns, but like this turned into a big old hey comic book readers, fuck you guys.
Yeah, so that was a huge event. It sold a ton. People were really into this, like, oh my god, they killed off Superman. And then I think it was just a few months later. How much longer was it?
Did they? I think they put. I want to say
well,
they put out a year.
For Fred. They did a funeral for Fred.
I remember the issues after his initial death were some of the greatest issues and some of the greatest paneling I've ever seen. Yeah. Because the assembling, there's one. I don't know if it's a comic or a panel of all the DC superheroes around Superman's coffin, to just get the scope of like, yo, we lost our fucking ace, right? And everybody's sad. Like everybody has like this look of sorrow because you're losing someone huge to this world, right, and to this universe that they've built.
The biggest is the pinnacle. He's the superhero, right?
Right. So the stories that come from this are even better than this story, I would assume, and based on those first few issues after he died, that's what we were getting, right? The Doomsday story is fine in itself, and if that's what you love, but it's usually after the fact. Once you lose somebody, it's what happens after that.
Yeah.
That really tells what type of universe, what type of world, what type of person and hero they are, and villain, right? So, this change helped lead to some of these cool, different types of stories that you could start telling. It was just when they wanted to bring him back, which I don't know if it was an uproar from the public. They're just like, we want him back, or writers or the DC management are just like, hey man, maybe we need to bring back this Man of Steel dude because he was making a lot of bucks for us, and now we can't do it anymore. But they came to the decision where we have to bring him back. And how is really where the controversy sets in for comic book readers and kind of Superman fans and Superman anti-fans, right? Because as much as I don't like Superman, what they did to bring him back didn't make me like him even more, because they just kind of confused his whole fucking mythos even more.
Well, the fans, like, they were into it. Like, of course they were mad that Superman was dying, but they were even more pissed off that the whole event was a ripoff.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, nobody's ever killed off a superhero before, the little Superman. Then they do, and it's like, oh my god, he actually got killed, and then he's back. Oh, what the fuck was the hype about? And then... Right? It was their first taste of what comics were going to
inevitably do to you. Yeah. Just yo-yo your emotions.
And now it's like, one of my pet peeves in comics is a big deal about somebody dying. Because it's like, well, he's going to come back anyway.
Are they really dead?
He's going to come back. They always come back. Wolverine came back.
Yep.
Everybody, even fucking Gwen Stacy came back.
Nightcrawler came back. Jean Grey came back.
People die all the time. Jason Todd.
It's really with X-Men. X-Men, you guys like killing them, bringing back.
Jason Todd.
Thunder.
Remember the fans voted to kill him off.
Right.
And then they still brought him back.
I mean, he came back awesome though.
Yeah, he did.
And he didn't come back as three different versions of himself. No. And we didn't say that the original Jason Todd was not the real original Jason Todd, which I feel is the real shame in bringing back the superhero, because the launch back. I don't know if you want to jump into the films because they.
We can. Well, yeah.
But bringing back Superman,
was the comic worth the hype? 20 years later,
I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it from like a cynical eye. Yeah. Like, there's more funny things about it than there is like, I feel something for this guy.
So imagine reading that, actually believing that was like fun.
Well, that was for a long time. Yeah. That was fact. That was law. That was what it was going to be. This was the world that we're living in. Up until this point, you didn't know anything moving forward. You didn't think you're going to see him in movies again, let alone comic book cages. So all the stories coming after that, and the funeral, and like, how does Metropolis move on? Great shit. Like, you have me hooked as a reader. Let alone killing him and all the weird ways that you killed him. What are you gonna do now? Yeah. That's amazing. When you decide to bring him back, and then you're not sure how you're bringing him back, that's when I'm like, fuck you. Like, you don't care about me as a reader. You want me to buy more new Superman merch.
Yeah, and that's what came up to.
Because like, the comic book had him coming back as two different Supermen that were electrical. And then the movies and all of them had like Steel pop up, Superboy pop up.
Well, we can jump to the comic itself. The storyline was kind of truncated to the first DC animated movie,
right?
That we got right. Yep. No, 2007 Superman Doomsday. That's what it's called. That was the first one. Before all the other 3 episodes worth of movies we reviewed, the very first one was this.
Right.
And it was based on
And this, again, this is how they
The Death of
launched their
Superman.
this is how they launched their DC universe. Amazing.
And at the time, I remember I didn't watch it right away, but I remember watching it a long time ago.
Yep.
And I remember being, oh, this is pretty cool. It's it's DC. And I think there was it's kind of like Spider-Man 1, like the live action one. It's kind of in the sense that it was just really cool to see it on screen.
Right.
Even though it's not that good.
Yeah.
Please
tell me your opinion. Wait till you get to my opinion.
You know what I mean? See, like, because it was not the Death of Superman, but it was based on the Death of Superman.
Yeah, they're trying to capitalize on what the comic did, but bring it to a whole new audience who would have been us, because we would have been watching cartoons and movies of this
and squish how many pages of comics into an hour and a half?
Yeah,
or an hour and 20, including what happened after the death.
Hour and 15.
Hour and 15. There you go. Jesus Christ.
So this happened in 2007. We'll give you a little rundown of who at the time they got to. This was before they kind of started spending money on celebs for voicing. They have Adam Baldwin playing Superman.
Who's fine.
No, he's not.
He was fine. As Superman, he was fine.
Anne Heche.
She was fine.
Nope, she was not.
She was fine.
James Marsden.
Okay, so I liked him as Lex.
Compared to the movies we have watched, he is the ultimate Lex Luthor.
I liked his voice as Lex.
Joe DiMaggio.
He's in everything.
Toyman.
He's in everything.
This had Toyman in it too.
It did. You're right.
Threw me for a fucking loop.
With the bus scene.
Because this brought me back to Public Enemies, and if you haven't heard that episode, Tom Kenny, R.I.P. from SpongeBob fame, was playing the robot. Susie Kurtz playing Martha Kent. Cree Summer, who does a lot of voice work too. Mercy Graves. Ray Wise is Perry White. So they spent money on voice actors.
Yeah. No, when I say they were fine, I mean
they're headliners. There was your biggest A-list actors, Anne Heche, and to play Lois Lane. Yeah. Yes. No, it wasn't great. The script wasn't great. It was. The animation style was not great. The story was not great. I had not watched it when I was younger, and I think this is the first time I watched it.
It's rough.
I did not like it at
it's not
all. Like this is terrible. And the one thing that you want about a movie called Superman Doomsday is fucking Doomsday, and he's only in it for like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what pissed me the fuck off. Like, the one thing I want to see is an hour of just him smashing the shit, like, blow for blow all through the city. He's in, like, the first half of the movie, not even.
Yeah, and
and then it's all, like, extra shit that I don't care about.
And there's no other Justice League. It's just
Superman.
It's just Superman.
Superman fighting Superman. And he's drawn weird. Like, he's got weird lines on his face that are supposed to be indents for, like, dimples or legs. Yeah. But it's, for me, it was so jarring. I was like, I gotta look at this. Like, you made Lex Luthor look smooth.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like a normal human being. But they gave, like, Superman... So I don't know if you ever watched the Superman animated series. It's that styling, but just for Superman. So, like, Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen look like real people, but for whatever reason, Superman just has dots for eyes and, like, these weird lines for, like, his cheek muscles. And I was like, what the like, this is the guy I gotta be cheering for the whole time?
There's
fuck off.
There's two specific things that I found.
Only two.
Well, no, two that stood out as, like, the most hilarious things to me.
Look at this job.
One was so Lois in this movie is in a the Doomsday looks ridiculous. If Lois is in a relationship with Superman in this movie, but not Clark Kent, she doesn't know who they are. I mean, so she keeps going off to the Fortress of Solitude with him and stuff, and
and she has a great time. And there's even throwaway jokes about, like, the robot that he has, watching them. He's like, oh, you know.
I found that whole dynamic.
They look normal.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on with this guy?
He's showing a picture of Superman right now.
Why is his cheeks like that? And then just slits for him out like they ran out of animation like styles for Superman?
Yeah.
Look at the detail in fucking Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah.
Look at the emotion you can see. I gotta look at two versions of this motherfucker.
Yeah. But Lois and him are in a relationship, but she doesn't know that he's Clark Kent.
Right.
I found that fucking hilarious.
All right.
I found that hilarious.
That was hilarious too.
This is the best part of the movie. I don't
know
if you noticed this. No,
do you want to tell people about the movie first? Because we're jumping all over the place.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we do. But at least give people kind of the rundown, because already they know that Doomsday doesn't even make it to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And he's in the fucking title of the movie.
Okay, just quick idea. Lex digs up Doomsday in this.
Right.
Based on Alien Message. Lois and Superman are in a relationship. Doomsday fights the military, and then Superman shows up. They do he does like that meteor drop to knock him out.
Yeah.
You remember that? He flies him up, and yeah, it was weird.
It's a lot of what the fuck's going on.
And then Lex is trying to cover up the fact that he's the reason that
Superman's
it was dug up. Yeah. He fucking cold-blooded kills his like caps the assistant. Just bam! I was like, oh shit. There's a Kevin Smith cameo. Did you catch that?
Yeah, he's just an audience member.
Yeah.
He's an audience member.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Crowd member.
That was actually him voicing it. That was pretty funny.
You could pick that up. That was a highlight for this 2007 movie.
The Toyman thing is like intermission. Basically,
they need a sub villain for him to fight in
just
between.
To chew some screen time
to prove that Superman can fight other people.
And
he has got a weird
back.
Robot, like a spider robot.
Yeah. And Lois stops him. Yeah.
I'm sending you that picture for sure.
Yeah, and then
that's a wallpaper.
And then Superman comes back out of the grave
in the new with the mohawk.
Yeah.
And the black suit.
Mohawk. He's got like a.
He's got the full.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
He's got the full Bon
mullet
Jovi
type thing.
Yeah, the full Bon Jovi.
And then he starts going buck wild. He starts like killing. He kills Toyman.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, like this
real fake Superman comes back.
Yeah.
But real Superman is over in the Fortress of Solitude in the black suit, getting charged up.
Yeah, get charged up by his robot.
There's so like this is what is excruciating about fucking this whole mythos, because they keep inventing these things in order to bring him back to life. One of them being that he's got to wear this black suit, which I don't mind, but it's just weird, in order to get more sunlight rays.
Yeah.
To give him life again.
Yeah.
When I mean, you could have just fucking tossed him in the sun.
Yeah.
First of all.
So basically, Lex takes his body, clones him,
yep.
and sets it up as
this is the new Superman that I can control.
And I can control him.
Yeah. He put like a lead bullet in his brain or something.
Yeah, the mind control shit, which he burns out anyways.
Yeah, that was weird.
Right, he just like goes to the salon.
He looks in a mirror. Let's talk about this scene. So Superman knows there's something fake Superman. I'm doing air quotes because these three movies have the most amount of Supermen I've ever seen, and I never want to talk about the first one. We're going so far. Fine.
Keep it on Doomsday.
This Superman realizes that something's up, so he goes in. He walks into a salon randomly, looks into a mirror, X-ray visions himself, and sees that there's a lead bullet tracker directly in the middle of both hemispheres of his brain. He then decides that he is going to laser shoot out that bullet
with the reflection of the mirror,
which makes no fucking sense at all.
Because it's through his forehead.
And he would have decimated the mirror. Like there's no like that's what's excruciating for someone that like you read comics, you believe in a certain folklore. Like he could have went to the like. There's so many different ways you could have done this if that's what you wanted him to do. But the fact he goes so casually into slides, like let me just look. Let me just look into this mirror. Yeah. Hey, wait a minute, mirror! You got something in your head that doesn't belong. And he doesn't believe.
So the basis of it is that Lex clones Superman, and then the clone goes rogue.
Yeah,
that's the story.
That's not a bad story if you're telling it.
And then
correctly.
the real Superman comes back,
and has to dummy his clone.
Has to fight his clone. Who's trying? He actually is trying to do good. He's just an asshole about it. Or he saves the kitten out of the tree.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to have a gentle touch.
Yeah.
He's just kind of coming to grips that he's a fucking Man of Steel, right? So he's fucking up shit, and people are afraid of him. Yeah,
people are afraid of him. The thing I was trying to talk about earlier that really stuck out to me, which I thought was hilarious. Now, throughout the whole of this, I liked James Marsden as Lex Luthor. I liked the voice. I thought his script was ridiculous because I actually wrote down here Lex homoerotic Luthor.
Or he was very
because all he did was fucking make these like half come-ons to Superman.
That's what you should have wrote down his best ofs.
I should have written them down. He's like, "Why did you leave me?" Remember he fights. How did you leave?
It makes sense because
it opens with, "Isn't he beautiful?"
Yeah, he's like such a beautiful man. Like he's talking about like this specimen. It's like, what a specimen.
Like Lex has got a half chub throughout this whole fucking movie. Every time he talks about Superman,
which kind of makes sense to the whole Lex Superman back and forth relationship. There's definitely like I want something about like what he has. He's a god. I don't understand it. I want to be a part of it.
Which is There's one. That's one way to paint it, but the way they did it is
I'm gay for you.
He actually wants to fuck him.
Yeah.
Like it was like
or him fuck.
Yeah, or whatever. He wanted to touch ankles for him. Either one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's the warship. There's the.
I'm trying to figure if Lex would be a power bottom or
it's Superman.
a giver. But it's Lex, so he would be giving it to Superman. He'd be like, "Yes, you beautiful beast." Like it's like him conquering an animal. Like it's just him in the Serengeti, just rocking back and forth. Like, you think you're a god? I'm the god now.
And you can
right?
see if you can see the
I can totally see him rocking Superman socks
you beautiful beast.
And now it makes sense to why he has. So like another plot of the story is like Lex has a fucking grow field of Superman clones. That he's just building.
Oh, he's got a farm.
Yeah. So you know one of them's just ass and cheeks.
That's origin.
Like a hole. No. He's gonna take his time. He's building the perfect ass structure to get his. Yes.
But you did pick up on all those.
Yeah. Okay, that's heavy there.
Because I was dying.
I haven't delved deep into it like we are now. But
I was like, why does he keep saying gay shit?
There's definitely a moment where he wants to be like, who's the god now? Superman?
It was just so on the nose. It was just like, it was all the time.
Yeah.
Every time he talks about Superman, yeah, well, he's a sexy bitch. It's like, well okay, Lex.
So, and that's why another reason why he has so much animosity towards Lois, because they have a nice little triangle scene.
Thing going on, yeah.
Yeah,
Lex is a sleazeball in this movie. It's funny.
Which, it makes sense, and then it's like, somebody's going too far with this. I'm surprised they got to another movie after this bad boy.
Yeah, like they just wrote Lex to like the sleaziest, just right up. Anyways,
but that's the thing. That's the hard thing about this movie, because the only character that they really got right was Lois.
Yeah,
they didn't really get Superman right, and you got to do two different ways of Superman, and both of them I felt were a discredit to the character. Yeah, and Lex is just all over the board of like, I'm insane. Like Lex, they just made him a mad scientist.
And I really liked the voice.
Yeah. And the look.
But he was just so... He was a little too...
Not the... Again, he was, for me, he was mad scientist.
Like,
he seemed like Dr. Frankenstein. Like, I can't wait to make another one.
Yeah, and
it's like what's going on
Lex
here?
Luthor. He's more chill than that.
And then no fucking Doomsday. Doomsday's in it for a minute.
He's a cameo, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then at the end, I don't know if you thought this was weird, but Superman kills his clone really easily.
Yeah.
Like, just... done, and then he was sort of like, "Good job."
So they're in the Fortress of Solitude. I can't remember who's in there, but somehow he gets like Lex's kryptonite gun.
Yeah.
And then he shows up to battle Superman, not being as strong as he previously was.
Yeah.
So he's got to use guns and other he's got to use his smarts to get out of it.
Yeah.
Finally, they make it to this park where the Superman death monument is, and real Superman is like on his back, kind of, and real Superman's like, he lifts up this giant pillar shield of Superman to smash him with, because he's all like powerful. He's like, I'm a god, I can kill you, and fake Superman's like, whoa. There's a stupid line too. He's like, they gave you everything about me, all my strengths, also
my weaknesses,
all of my weaknesses, and he shoots. He uses X-ray vision to explode like a pellet of kryptonite gas onto Superman, and then fake Superman inhales it all and then just kind of falls down, and then the S crushes him.
He's like a bug under a boot, man. It's fucking. It was. I'm like, and then it's
end, and then they go make out, and
he's like, "Good job, Superman."
So of all the things that make me fucking pissed off, it's Lois that pisses me off at the end and the worst, right? So she obviously has a whole range of emotions going on with like, let alone your boyfriend died, now he's back, but now there's two and I don't know which one's which. She's talking to Mohawk Superman. It's like, how do I know you're the real Superman? And real Superman, or Black Suit Superman's answer is to just kiss her and make out with her. And she's like, oh, that was easy. I was like, fuck off! You're like an ace reporter. Like, that's the one fucking thing you need to do to prove that, to sleuth out whether or not it's a real or fake. If he kisses you, are you fucking kidding me?
Hey,
and hate my ass.
Women in 2007 were easy.
Oh God! You wonder why they weren't getting no fucking movies on the front of the screen. If this is how you're treating their character, all that work, all that like painstakingly to just be like, oh, if he kisses me right, he's the man for me.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, it's not good.
This is fucking reboot.
It's not good.
This is the reboot when they had two Bobs, and Dot Matrix is like, I'll just choose the one that looks like the Bob I remember.
Yeah.
And real Bob is like, fuck you, bitch. Yeah. Like, yo, I'm the real one. Like, oh.
That's just that white suit.
Yeah. And she's like, no, you don't look like the one I remember. That's it. That's all chicks need is just be nostalgic. Like, if you look like what I remember,
you're not
I'm
my
in.
Bob.
Fuck off. Lips. Apparently, he's got super lips. Because the clone doesn't have super lips.
No, he doesn't. Or a tongue.
I don't know if Superman's lips.
Oh, French. I don't know.
We don't know.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Look at that beautiful beast. I think I was grunting.
That's okay. All right, so that's fine.
That's gay. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on to
would you recommend this movie?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
This movie's terrible.
No, it's not good at all. Unless you really like homoerotic Lex Luthor.
I mean, that's the price of admission for some people.
His lines were funny. They just threw me off.
Don't take this movie seriously.
Yeah.
Again, this is for me. This is a Public Enemy watch because it has Toymaster and a homoerotic relationship between Lex and Clark, which is something that mirrors Public Enemies, Batman and Superman homoerotic.
So because this movie essentially butchered the comic, like all good things these days, DC remade it.
What, like 12, 10?
11 years later. Yeah.
So long.
11 years later,
before they touched it.
Yeah, they released The Death of Superman.
That's the name of it.
Which is, obviously the name of the comic. This one was a lot closer to the comic.
Right.
It had its own flavor because it was the New 52 line of DC animated films. Mm-hmm. So it was the New 52 cast in it instead of a bunch of Justice League International jobbers. And
we're looking at 2018. So this is when they're shelling out top dollars for voice acting. You got Jerry O'Connell playing Superman, Clark Kent.
Good.
Rebecca Momaine as Lois Lane.
Very good.
Rainn Wilson as Lex Luthor.
Not
terrible.
Not good.
You can hear Dwight all through this bad
the whole
boy,
way through.
And it fucking pulls you out of it. Rosario Dawson as Wonder Woman.
So good. I like her a lot.
Same. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern.
Great.
Also love that. Christopher Gorham as as the Flash.
Works.
Matt Lantern as Aquaman.
Sure.
Shamar Moore as Cyborg.
Yeah, he's fine.
And Nyambi as Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I like that one.
And Jason O'Mara as Batman.
Yeah,
which is great.
So it's the same guys that have done
like three or maybe like five or six movies.
Most
of the Justice League movies.
Yeah.
You're getting this type
the New
of
52
lineup.
one. That's the New 52 lineup.
Minus Lex Luthor. Rainn Wilson is the addition here, and it detracts a lot.
His Lex is terrible.
But the lines are great. The motivation makes sense. It's the fucking voice. He's not. There's no gravity to it, right?
No,
he sounds smarmy. Yeah. He sounds like a sidekick.
He's very smarmy. But I don't like his lines. When he's like, "Get out of here, idiots! Do it properly, fool!" I'm like, "Hey, like."
Let's put this in context. I watched this movie after I watched
homoerotic
Lex Luthor.
Yeah. So, I liked.
I know you like homoerotic.
Yeah. But
show me that you're a god.
But it was just this one was too on the nose. He was like, remember when he goes to one of the first scenes he goes to the control room. He's like, "That's not how you do it, idiot. Allow me, moron." Like every line, I was like, okay.
Yeah, he sounded like a Batman villain from
he sounded like he's been
the Adam West. Adam West era. He sounded like Egghead.
Yeah.
Listen here, Batman. Maybe you don't have enough shells to crack this egg.
I was waiting for him to go like, "Get out of here, broad."
Listen here, see. There's a lot of that, and it's like that's not the Lex. I'm used to like a smooth, deep tones
that you don't really know what he's up to.
Thing. Very even keeled, but you can't trust them.
Look at the All-Star Superman, Lex Luthor.
Amazing.
He was great. Lex was perfect.
Amazing.
This one, he was just like it was like he was written by a 10-year-old. Like let's see how many bad names we can call people.
No offense to Rainn, I like a lot of his. Like I buy him as a rocker. That was a great movie. I buy him as a superhero in Super. I buy him as Dwight Schrute, but
he's not. He wasn't a good.
He's not a. No. Better or worse than I know we said we're not going to talk movies, but Eisenberg.
Oh God, yeah, he was. Yeah,
so
he was in that vein.
You get okay, but better.
Oh, better. Yeah, okay. Everybody's better than him.
Hey,
I could be better like Luke than him.
Shave your head and then we'll talk.
Okay. So
this movie, you want to go a brief synopsis?
I like this one.
That's we'll get into
no,
opinions after.
Okay. Oh, okay.
After you just straight out.
This
is the one. Yeah.
I like this one.
This is the one.
But it was very close to the comics.
Agree.
Okay.
I also like this one. This one's very more enjoyable.
Rather than Doomsday coming from the ground like that vault,
he comes from
like a
rock
meteor,
in space.
right?
Yeah.
That Lex goes. It looks pregnant.
and that meteor dummies fucking like a space, like there's all this B story with like the space team that goes up.
Yes.
And they think Superman's gonna save them, yada yada yada, and they go out to walk in space, and they're like, oh,
yeah, Hank Henshaw. Yeah, they don't tell you his name. That's Hank Henshaw. So in the comics,
that pays off later.
Well, in the comics, it was. I remember reading up on this. I don't know how was he in Death of Superman? Okay, so he was there because there was a long build up to him. Being a player, like being there, and like so it wasn't just some random guy in a space station that got smirked. Right. It was actually like a character, but yeah, he gets.
Well, again, they gave him enough time on it that you're like, okay, this guy is something important, and then a rock hits him, and that's his last line is like, "Superman is save us," and then he gets bodied through by this big rock,
which kind of foreshadows that
which is great.
There's bad stuff coming.
Yeah, Superman can't be everywhere all the time, right?
Yeah,
it's a great type of. Note to leave in your hat that as many people as there are and that know that Superman exists and always pray and like because in the comic there's a lot of that too. There's always people like Superman will save us, right? This is the kind of first time where people are realizing Superman can't save everyone, and that's a very human quality, and it's the first time you get to kind of see Superman as a human. Which I think is the whole overall goal to this.
It is. He's better written in this. This Superman is he's a little different. He's a little unsure of himself too. Right. He doesn't have the confidence in himself, which I thought was interesting.
I really like this movie because it was a more character arc of Clark and his internal struggles of being Superman with Lois. So you get great scenes of him interacting with Lois and deciding whether or not he can tell her as Clark that he is Superman.
Right. So hold on before you go on, just to put a footnote here. In the comics, they were engaged. In Superman Doomsday, she was with Superman, didn't know it was Clark Kent. In this one, she's with Clark Kent, has a little thing for Superman because of Superman, but
there's no idea there's a connection.
There's no connection. Okay, go ahead.
In this movie, Superman is so unsure of what to do with this relationship that he has these moments with Wonder Woman and the rest of the Justice League.
He's actually asking for advice.
He's asking questions, and that was great. Like I love that. Like
the whole Flash thing.
Yeah, that was because that's what you assume what like off time would be around like, these people, right? Yeah. At a certain point, they're not superheroes anymore. They're just friends and people that you know and you've grown so close with that you're just asking inane questions, right?
He's like, hey, Wally or Barry, have you told Iris about? He's like, yeah, why
of course,
I?
Yeah, she's my wife. She's my everything. Like, I had to bring her into this world.
And Superman was just flabbergasted.
He's like, really? And then Green Lantern, because Wally announces that he's engaged.
Barry.
There's too many.
Yeah.
There's too many's. And then Green Lantern's like, hey, like celebration, beers all around, and looks to Batman. He's like, I know, milk for you only, right? So there's like these little tropes.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's great back and forth.
And then Flash busting Batman's chops because even Batman has this like moment where he's like, I can't make it that day, and it's like, why can't you make it, Batman? Everyone can make it. It's like, I got it. Yeah. So they give a shout out to Damian, which is amazing. Like he's in this universe.
Well, because it's in that New 52 continuity, right?
So. And then the grogrowth of Batman, just that little line of like, I have to go to a parent-teacher interview. Like, when would you ever hear Batman say that stuff? And then Flash pops up and starts doing an impression of like, oh yeah, we're gonna need more chaperones for this dance. Yeah. And everyone starts laughing, right? So like it was those little moments of like the team on the downtime that you got a better feel for of what the team is.
It builds the camaraderie, right? It understands the characters. The only thing
that they understand each other, right? They're all three-dimensional in this world that they.
Hawkman has 0 lines.
and he gets dummied. He gets dummied so fast. It's great though.
He's just there, but anyways.
But he gets dummied.
Yeah,
and it's great. No, but you have to sneak him in.
Of course, yeah.
He'll eventually get his solo movie.
But yeah, so Doomsday comes from the meteor. He says that's just like in the comics, like you were describing. He slowly makes his way,
right,
killing everything that he can. The deer's there.
So this is what I like about this movie compared to the comic. They have him in the full suit, and he slowly starts peeling back the layers to reveal what Doomsday actually is. I believe it's Lois that gives him the name in this incarnation. She just says it over a report when they're and what's the chief's name for the Daily Planet? Wherever his name is, like, oh, Lois called him Doomsday. Run with it, and he tells his troops to go like hold the presses, start printing out the name that they're calling this monster now Doomsday. So it was a different twist, but I liked how they integrated it into the movie.
Yeah, it was cool.
Because they make Lois is very integral in this movie, which I appreciate, and
she's a big part of it.
She's
Yeah.
smart in this.
Yeah,
so
she is,
anytime they make someone smart, even Wonder Woman's super smart in this
she's
too.
Great.
Right? She's busting a lot of chops to Clark too, right? Where we talk about the story. So he crashed down. He's slowly starting to peel, slowly starting to peel back. Superman's, or we should say Clark's, struggle right now is he's introducing Lois to his parents, but he doesn't know how to tell her that he in fact is Superman. Yeah. So that's his struggle that he's going on right now, along with being Superman and having to leave this world to go battle. But Wonder Woman is the first one on the scene. She's in the Watchtower, and she's just like, okay, hey, Superman, maybe this is something you should just keep an eye on. We have it under control now, but there's a monster down here. We sent Flash, Green Lantern, and I think it was Hawkman first. Okay. Batman shows up again.
Oh, right afterwards.
Yeah, like, Batman's Batman's second wave to be like, hey, shit's getting
three down.
Yeah, shit's getting real.
I remember saying 3 down. You're right. Yeah.
So it the escalation even works to this level too. But yeah. At this point in the movie, Superman knows something's up, but it's still his mind's on Lois and trying to figure out how to break this very important information to her.
And I kind of like the way he does it. He just kind of is like, I'm Superman.
I'm Superman. Yeah, he takes off his glasses.
She starts laughing.
Yeah, and then he takes off his glasses. He's like, look at me. Yeah. Look at me. And then it snaps.
She's like, oh my God.
You're Superman, right?
It all makes sense.
He looks around, he looks over his shoulder to see if anyone can see him without his glasses. Because obviously that's a big trope that everyone makes fun of. You can tell he's the same guy without the glasses. Yeah. But they made a point of being like, when he takes it off, completely different man. So. Yeah,
but she was funny because she's like, oh my God, it all makes sense now.
You're always right a step behind Superman, right? When
like, oh my God, you're an alien. And my boyfriend's an alien.
And Superman's just like, no, man, I'm just a kid from a small town trying to do good.
Yeah.
And then he's got to go.
And he leaves a note like a
Casanova. Yeah, he's like, I got one more secret to tell you, and I don't know how to tell you. And then he's got to leave. He passes her the note, and it just says, I love you, right? Yeah. Very, very small, intimate scene, but tells you so much about both characters that you want to get. Especially knowing what this is going to lead to. You get as much heart from Clark and Superman, leading to the fact that he's inevitably going to have that heart stop bleeding.
Yeah.
But he's bleeding so much for Lois. So it was a great scene. And again, this movie is such a good character study of Clark and Superman and how he interacts in this world.
And then he shows up to fight Doomsday, and nobody's really been able to stand. Like, he's dumbing everybody. Wonder Woman has a good tiff with him, but
I liked the Green Lantern interaction because Green Lantern's like all badass, thinking like, yo, this ray's gonna fuck him up, and he's doing like these huge beams and shit, it's not working.
It gives me the impression that if Green Lantern had come on the scene later, he would have taken it more seriously. Yeah, but because he was the first one, like, we do this all the time, and he's doing like baseball bats and stuff.
To the point that like he ends up on his back and he's got to like put a dome over him, and Doomsday starts cracking it. I was like, yes.
They really made Doomsday a force.
Yes, which is what you want, right?
Even with Flash too, right? Like
Flash is dummying him because he picks up Hawkman's mace.
Mace, yeah.
And is super speeding and banging him on his back, and Doomsday just kind of crouches over, and you see his eyes, just waiting for this moment. And times it just clocks him, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's so good. Like, you don't underestimate Doomsday at all because he's systematically dummies.
He even was Batman.
Yeah.
He even was Batman.
Well, Batman's smart enough to like keep his distance on him. He's like, yo, we need more help.
It's like, right? Oh, damn it! Yeah.
He throws the bombs at him. He's like, no, we need more.
Although
Deanna Troy tries to use the lasso and no success. No.
Manhunter gets screwed over.
He does. He even tries to look in his mind, and Superman's like, he's got nothing in there. It's just rage. Yeah. And then Fire enrages, and he's fucked too. Like, it's great. Yeah. It's so good.
And there's the cool scenes when Superman does show up, and Doomsday doesn't like immediately knock him out. He does that little head tilt, like, oh,
who are you?
Okay,
yeah, you're new. This is new. You're gonna be fun.
Yeah, and it is. It's
the rest of the movie is them fighting. Dummy. Yeah. That's what you want. You wanted a Doomsday movie. Is Doomsday. And him fucking just so good.
Now the death of Doomsday is different than in the comics, right? The neck break.
Yeah, they don't do that. There's a back break, which is great.
Okay, because you gotta assume this guy doesn't really have bones, or if he does, it's not. Like the neck break was kind of. It was cool. It looked really cool, but it's like, would that work? It doesn't matter.
I remember like a brief line in the comic saying that Superman's like his skin's so durable, like his bones are so strong that like everything that he does can't break or puncture it. Even though towards the end of the fight, it seems like he's starting to bleed a little bit. Doomsday, but this is after the fact where like Superman's just gushing out blood.
Oh yeah, so, he was. He was working, and then he has that last ditch effort to save Lois.
At this point in the movie, you don't really care. No. You're just so happy that this fight is happening great. To the extent that it's happening. My one fucking like irk again is like in the comic, Lois goes down to the ground level and like intersects herself in between Doomsday and Superman, to the point that like Doomsday is about to rush and fuck her up. Yeah. And like Superman, like just on the ground, like just trying to regain himself, has to be like pick himself up and be like, "Fuck, I gotta go save this girl." Like that would like piss me off. Like, yo, this is not your fight. So the fact that you're right like 100 yards away from him, you're not helping me. Like I gotta get up and go do more shit to help you.
Pussy gotta get him killed.
Which it did. So like I don't think that's her using the smart mind. I'm assuming in her heart of hearts. But it's
for the drama,
man. She just wants to get close to Superman, trying to help. She can't do shit. We're also leaving out that even Lex.
That was dumb too. I don't like.
I get it.
I get it too.
He wants to be a shining knight in Metropolis, so he sends out one of his bots to go do some damage to Doomsday,
and he gets damage done to him.
It works initially, right? Because he has this whole.
Actually, you're right.
He knocks him down, and he's like, and his whole thing is like, I want a sample of this Doomsday so I can build a better clone or whatever I'm doing in my life.
Yeah, he's clone crazy right
now. But he's dummying him, and he's saying like these lines like, "I'm the true hero of Metropolis. People need to know that I'm here."
Again, he's talking too much. Yeah, he's.
And then Doomsday's like, "Oh, hey, I have laser eyes." Yeah. And then just shoots him across and starts ripping across his
suit.
Which is weird because the way his suit is set up, it's like a mech suit, so it's got giant arms, giant legs, and a big video screen in the middle.
Yeah.
So initially,
like Terminator, like from RoboCop.
Correct. Yeah. So initially, I thought he was
somewhere else?
just watching through the screen, which would be smart, a genius thing to do for a billionaire genius villain, right? Not be in the suit. And then you find out he's fucking in the suit and put his face like so large that when he starts getting ripped out of it and tossed across, Superman has to go and save his life before he goes and loses his. So there's another little character moment for Superman where Lex is like upset. He's like, "You fucking saved me again. Like I'm trying to outdo you again. Like I'm trying to beat you again. And still you're another shining light to like undercurrent everything I'm trying to do."
Well, that's Superman, right?
Right. So like there's that scene I enjoyed, but the fact that he was not smart enough
to go to control it remotely,
be in the suit or pay someone to be in the suit or have several suits so that Doomsday is confused on which one he
just
is in.
Just in case maybe Doomsday gets the upper hand, I won't be inside.
How hard is it for a giant monster that's been dummying Superman to pull open the chest and pull you out?
It's
so that takes you out a little bit, but again, the meat and potatoes is Superman getting dummied and doing some dummying too. Like he's throwing some huge hits, right? Like I love about the comic book and this movie, there's a moment in it where either a character or Superman has to realize I have to dig deep and do shit I haven't done ever, right? So like he goes to a place where he hasn't gone before to like punch harder or like throw longer or like do things that he wouldn't normally have to do because he's never been tested to this limit. So I love in the movie where he finally realizes like, oh fuck, I gotta start throwing like haymaker punches, right? And like
and so Superman dies and
didn't work, but yeah, he tried,
and that's how the movie ends.
Correct.
Which leads us to...
not even yet. Because this movie also suffered from the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King 4 false endings. This had like several moments in the ending of the movie which seemed like a natural ending, but they kept giving me another scene. So he dies, seems like a natural ending. They show his funeral, seems like a natural ending.
But those were taken from those scenes were taken from Funeral for a Friend, like the.
I get it.
So it was,
but the way it was designed,
I liked it. I liked that.
I didn't. It kept taking me out of it and reminded me of Lord of the Rings, where it's like I just want this fucking franchise to end.
I think it added some drama, and some gravity.
They do another Lex Luthor scene to set up for the next movie, which is like, oh, why can't you tear this fucking Doomsday apart? I want his like DNA. And then the Superman.
Yeah, Dabney Donovan's introduced in this, right? Yeah.
There's a few characters that pop up in the comic, like side characters that I assume real fans would have a deeper love for. I mean, the news reporter that works at Daily Planet, she has a prominent role. Yes. She's also in the comic. Yeah. The retired ship sailor dude.
Something. It's
Bibbo.
Yeah. Bibbo.
He's in the comic as well as in the movie. But the final scene is,
he says the Hail Mary at the water's edge.
Right.
Yeah.
The final scene is Clark's or Superman Kal-El's ship leaving, I guess, the museum or the laboratory that's at, and then flying off. And then is it his tomb that gets rocked, and then they see the silhouette of Superman?
Yeah.
So like that again, ends, like the comic, they already undercut their own.
Yeah,
shit,
you're right. They didn't need all that.
They didn't need to do all that stuff. You could have gave me a funeral scene. You could have gave me his last breath on the street and a funeral scene, right? And then like them walking off, and then maybe like Lex at the funeral too because he was there, and then like him something sinister, and then give me a new movie because once you give me the trailer, I'd be like, oh fuck, he's back.
Yeah.
But you give me so much as like,
you're right. You're doing what you do with the comic. You didn't need him to come up and fly it. Really.
No, and then to the point that Jimmy Olsen's like Superman, and then hard credits. I was like, fuck off, like you're DC animated. You guys are better than this.
Which brings us to the reign of the Supermen.
Oh God. There's a lot to this one.
This one's a little crazy.
This is cray. So this was a year later. They took no breaks.
Yeah. So essentially, the Superman being gone leaves a power vacuum or a void in Metropolis.
Right.
That is being filled by four different Supermen in this. Yeah.
Right. And some other things, but we'll get into that. So
casting's
mostly the same. Yeah, casting's mostly the same in terms of Superman, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor. But now you have Patrick Fabian as Hank Henshaw, who has a more prominent role in this movie. Cameron Monaghan as Superboy. Cress Williams as Steel, which is Henry Johns. And I guess it's also Jerry O'Connell for Cyborg Superman as well, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Who his character arc is great.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a lot of weird going on here.
Which
always reminds you. The one thing about Superman, which I do like when they do it, is remind me that he's an alien. Because as much as he looks like a human,
they remind you in this one.
He's a fucking weirdo. Yeah. And this one he's 4 different versions of a weirdo.
Yeah. So they introduced Superboy, Steel, Eradicator, and Cyborg Superman shortly afterwards. And those 4...
No Bizarro Superman.
No Bizarro, no. And those 4 are kind of in a rivalry almost.
Yeah, they're all
they'll have their own motivations, which is really cool because they break it down. Like
they're all looking to take up the mantle for this now void in the world.
Like John Henry Irons, Steel is actually
a man.
Out of the 4 of them, he's the most noble. He's like actually trying to do good.
Yep.
He's not trying to replace Superman. He's just trying to.
Same with Superboy. Superboy doesn't even know what he is at that moment.
Superboy is just a little bit more muddled because he's a clone.
He's a creation from Lex. He doesn't know what he really is, but he knows he wants to do good, and he likes the popularity and the notoriety.
He finds his way.
They all find who they're inevitably going to be throughout the course of the movie. That's why it's kind of good because they all start off in really one position, and they all basically, other than Steel, change where their actual
and then the Eradicator is kind of a wild card. It's like, who is this guy? Like,
that's the thing. Nobody knows what the fuck this guy's up
Eradicator with. and Cyborg Superman are real. The big question marks. Eradicator, you don't know what he is. He's just Superman with goggles.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They all have distinct looks, even though they're all kind of ripping off
Superman. Yeah,
the shield.
And Cyborg Superman comes in, and he's trying to convince everybody that he is actually Kal-El.
Right.
Like, it's me. I'm back.
Even though you're not.
I'm just mostly machine now.
Yeah.
So I actually liked that whole. That was pretty cool how they all
interacted.
Yeah.
But the movie is really about the resurrection of Superman.
Yeah.
Who
at the heart of it all, yeah. And they don't waste time. They get there pretty quickly. That's the 5th
Superman in this movie.
Yeah.
Along with the Justice League, who now get sent off to a parallel dimension.
Yeah, so that
Darkseid is also in this.
Darkseid, yeah. So
I like Seed.
Yeah, Darkseid. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, say Kevin Feige's name again.
Oh, I can never do that.
See, so I say Darkseid.
Kevin Feige.
You're not wrong. Just not right. As well as Lois, the sub characters, and who am I forgetting in here? I think Jimmy has a stronger role in here. Even the robots in the Fortress of Solitude kind of give more exposition of what the fuck's going on, because you don't really know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't take you long to figure out that, or for them to reveal that Cyborg Superman, just like in the comics, is actually Hank Henshaw.
Right. Explain this though, because we thought he was dead from the previous movie.
Yeah. So in this one, Darkseid finds him in space.
And like teleports him away to
Apocalypse, yeah. And kind of
uses him
as a vessel. Yeah. To be Cyborg Superman.
To be in the real world.
Yeah.
So the subplot is this a subplot or is it the main story?
It's the main story. Yeah.
Because Lex has a main story in this too. That's the problem with this movie.
There's a lot of stuff.
Too many cooks in this kitchen. This they could have done themselves a favor and split this into another 2 movies. And split the Superman into 2 movies. Because if you started this movie with, like, let's say Steel and what's the Exterminator?
Eradicator. Yeah, Eradicator.
And then the second one is fucking Superboy and Cyborg. Then you have the beginnings of what Superman left, and then the DNA of what Superman actually is. Anyway,
I liked Eradicator's reveal because I was like,
"Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, who is this guy? And then it reveals. Should I get into that now, or should we just get into like?
Well, did we explain the story at all? There's
4 Supermen basically fighting.
Trying to take up the mantle.
They're a rival. They're not like at odds. They're at odds, but they don't hate each other. They're just kind of rivals.
Until Cyborg's like, no, I'm the real Superman.
I'm the real Superman, and they're kind of like, oh.
Okay. And not only am I the real Superman, I'm cool and strong enough that I can now give every human person superhero powers.
That was a cool idea.
That was a very good choice.
That was a good idea.
Because the first guy's like, hey man, I'll sign up. And he puts on it's like a boom tube. It's like a mother box kind of boom tube type of technology.
Yeah.
And then he's got this fucking Tron
suit on. They basically
suit
become like, little miniature Supermen.
They all look like Trons. And then they fucking... But what they don't know is once they take on this mantle, they kind of lose their identity and just become robot
drones
slaves.
Almost, yeah.
You can say slaves. Don't say it. Don't say it. There's an episode where you say slave and I laugh.
Servants. That was a cool subplot. And then that's Darkseid's way of getting into the real world and controlling.
Yeah.
These.
But that's its own. Like that could have been its own movie.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Darkseid movies where he's just like, yeah, I'm trying to get here. I'm trying to take over Earth. But they're still dealing with the fact that Superman needs to be resurrected. And the fact that there's 4 other Supermen that they have to figure out. So
which is interesting because we said this is fairly close to the comics as well,
right?
But there are some big differences, most notably the Justice League. No, Eradicator's in it. Okay.
Well, you had a point to make about Eradicator.
I thought it was cool how he was revealed to be
like a battery.
Yeah, like a battery, like a guardian almost, right? He wasn't even a real. Once that happens, like, oh, this gets a little less convoluted when you realize that he was just protecting the real Kal-Els and gathering energy for him.
Yeah,
because he was going around collecting the Apocalypse weapons, right?
Because Kal-El is now in the Fortress of Solitude, just charging up in the black suit.
Just charging up the black suit and the mullet.
And he's got a 5 o'clock shadow, which I do enjoy. I did enjoy that. It's like a nice little added touch.
Actually, since we're on that scene, that one part where he's like, Eradicator saying they made a offhand joke about sex.
Okay.
And Eradicator's like, I suggest you abstain from any sexual activity until you're fully charged. And he's like,
what? All right.
Okay.
Yeah. It didn't even make sense to what they're talking about. Yeah, like Superboy's like, oh. Like they're just happy to like have a Superman back.
Yeah.
And they just randomly turn it into sex. He's like, no, you can't do it. He was kind of like a robotic Alfred.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, he was.
He's just looking over the dude.
But
which plot do you want to go to now?
I was actually getting
because they break him out and he picks up like a apocalypse gun, like he's got a gat on his back.
Yeah.
but he's got to use a ship to fly. I think, and we didn't even talk about how the Justice League had been boom tubed.
They did that to get... That was smart. I thought that was smart.
You got to pull them out.
It was weird the way it happened, but it was smart that they got boom tubed to some other fucking
It was cool
place.
because I thought they were dead. I was like, you kill them all off? Fucking A. Go for it.
No, they basically got them out of the picture so they wouldn't actually get involved.
Interfere,
which is smart. Okay, that's a good idea.
This is supposed to be a Superman movie, but given the context that Superman's part of the Justice League,
yeah,
he has a lot of friends that would definitely step in and be like,
yeah,
I'm Superman. Yeah. No, I'm the whole Spartacus moment. So yeah, they had to get him out, which they did.
And they did, yeah. But and Lex pulls them back, which is funny.
Yeah, Lex is stronger in this flick, but
again, he is, but he's
the voice
still
acting,
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah,
but we talked about the four. We talked about the four Supermen, and we didn't actually say their motivations. So Steel's trying to be a good guy. Like
he wants to be the shining shield. He's looking to be the Boy Scout.
We talked about Superboy.
Superboy is
Lex is trying to control him like he was in Doomsday, like the Superman Doomsday
context.
movie. Yeah.
He's been grown out of a tube.
Yep.
He's a test tube baby, but he's a teenager, so he's definitely a rebel because he's got a nice cool haircut and the crazy sunglasses, the 90s, and the leather jacket. But he understands that he has a power set, and he has this. The DNA in him wants him to do good.
Yeah. So he's not a bad kid.
He's just learning.
Kid.
He's a rebel.
Yeah.
So he's learning, right? So every interaction he has with the crowd, and he does something good,
he eats it up.
He rebels, and he's like, I like this. And he definitely enjoys the chicks.
Yeah,
that's what tipped him all off. He's like, man, there's gonna be chicks.
Yeah, and then Eradicator, like we said at the beginning, he just shows up and he's just kind of there, and he fights guys, and he's collecting all these Apocalypse weapons. Nobody knows what. You find out
it's got cool glasses.
Yeah, and then Cyborg Superman shows up, and I'm the real Clark Kent.
Yeah, Cyborg Superman is a whole other bag of dicks.
So in the comics,
gonna let bag of dicks
in the comics there was I'm gonna let it fly. Let the bag of dicks fly.
Yeah, describe the face gesture you did when I said bag of dicks.
I shook my head around, let my hair wave, so let the bag of dicks fly.
Like bag of dicks were hitting you in the face.
Like they were hitting me in the face.
Dick fight.
It's called a sword fight. Stop your fucking clapping. You guys always fucking clapping.
As an editor, he does not enjoy when I clap, but I'm very adamant about my points.
How loud that is?
It's gonna fucking.
That's gonna make up so loud.
I apologize if you're listening through headphones, but we're in hour 2.
Oh yeah, hour and 10. Where was I? Lost fucking.
We're talking about Cyborg and how he has a whole different set of motivations.
In the comics,
because he's connected to Hank Hemshaw.
Yeah. In the comics, it wasn't actually Darkseid; it was Mongol, and Cyborg Superman was actually in control, and Mongol was kind of like his bitch.
Okay,
and this one it's reversed, and it's Darkseid,
which I like.
Yeah, well, they did that I think because Darkseid's been a presence in the New 52
already
run of DC movies, so they kind of kept it constant, right?
Right. He's a formidable foe, and he's always trying to get back to this world.
Yeah.
And the fact they're using Superman as a conduit is very smart.
Yeah.
Because he's got quite literally a screw in fucking Cyborg's Superman's head, telling him what to do.
Yeah. There's
a moment where they cut to Darkseid, and he's saying the words that Superman's saying, and it was just fun. I can't remember what the dialogue was, so it was just funny to hear it. Because it's supposed to be somewhat uplifting coming out of Superman, but it's Darkseid saying like, "And you will follow, and I will rule." It's like Superman don't say this shit.
No, he doesn't.
And the fact that he's got I'm surprised he got as many followers as he did, because the man has a peeled off face. I don't care how many Superman suits you're wearing.
Yeah, he didn't look, and it was
2/3 of his face is gone, and the other.
Oh yeah, 3/4 at least. Yeah.
What's revealed is a metal.
Just an eye.
Yeah,
he's got an eye and
I
an
don't
all
trust
metal.
that. I've seen enough Terminator films to know you don't trust the red eye unless it looks like Arnold, and even then, I'll be back.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like,
I need a dramatic pause.
It was the ending of this was cool. The ending fight with Lois, and because Superman comes back and he's not quite up to snuff.
You're talking about Mohawk Superman. Sorry, not
Mohawk.
Yeah. Mullet Superman.
Mullet Superman. Yeah, Black
Rockstar,
Superman.
Rockstar Superman. Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they should have played, on his way in.
Bon Jovi Superman?
Yeah.
That'd be great, yeah.
Damn. That was a cool fight because Cyborg Superman was wiping the floor with him.
Yeah. Because he's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast, and
the rest of them are not.
Yeah.
So far, Cyborg Superman is the pinnacle Superman.
This death like this Superman killing Cyborg was a little more believable than him killing his clone in Doomsday.
Right.
Because he didn't revel in it. He wasn't like, yes!
Well, as much as we can not reference 2007 Doomsday, I'm all for. Yeah. So if you're saying this is better than that, I'm going to wholeheartly agree.
What did you think of it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was kind of messy. I like the Death Superman better.
It was. I thought you could have stretched this out to 2 films.
Oh my god, yeah.
And really gave more emphasis on what's happening in this world after the death of Superman before you so quickly reintroduce that he was. But again, for whatever reason, DC just loves to keep tapping on that. Hey, we got on the shoulder of, hey, we still have Superman. Superman's still here.
Yeah, we know he's there. Just...
there's good to it. I recommend it, but I recommend Reign of Superman wholeheartedly. And if that was a standalone, I'd just be happy with that. Death of Superman. Mistake. Death of Superman 10 times more.
Yeah, if you want, you can't watch this one by itself. You have to watch Death.
You can.
Really? Would you? I don't know. It's
this one.
Yeah,
you can watch Superman by itself because it's the culmination, right? You already know that Superman's dead and he's coming back alive. You don't really need the context of how he died.
But you get the whole relationship between him and Lois that carries throughout. Also,
again, that's if you want that. If you just want to see fucking Superman
fight each other, yeah.
Hey man, I want to see Steel. He's in this.
Great scene in this one that we didn't even mention before we go. Lois and Diana at the table.
Okay,
that was a great scene.
Yeah, there was a nice little
she used to bump uglies with Superman. Diana did in this universe.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, I'm so glad he told you about us. Now, now we get over it. And she's like, I guess he didn't tell me everything because Lois didn't know that him and Diana had been together.
Fair enough. And then there's another line about like Clark's on the phone with Wonder Woman who's at the Watchtower, and she's like, oh yeah, tell Lois that I'll see her on Friday.
Yeah.
And Clark's like, Friday?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go hang out. It's like Clark's like, worlds are colliding.
Yeah,
right? Like he doesn't
it's
like
great,
it. Like it's such a good like boyfriend like friend thing. Like we've all been in a situation where your girlfriend likes your friends and wants to hang out with that group, and you're like, I don't know if I want.
This is getting.
But yeah, a great character.
That was kind of cool. I like that evolution of those two.
All three, yeah,
those two becoming friends because they both admit that a lot of women don't like them. She's like, I don't really have a lot of girlfriends,
which is true, yeah.
And
they're always surrounded by men in both of their fields. So. Yeah.
So that's
poor Maxima. Maxima should be an ice
and Matrix Supergirl
and fire.
And Matrix Supergirl.
Oh god, it was so jarring to me. I was like, what the hell just happened here?
Well, because in the comics for this one, Lex. Check this out.
He's wearing the wig and the.
No, it's not a wig. His brain. It's his. So he's pretending to be his son. So it's his brain in this other body with a beard and long hair and an Australian accent.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be Lex Luthor Jr.
Superman's so fucking weird, yo. Like
that's why in the elevator scene, he's escaping.
but he takes it off.
That was a nod to the comics because that's what he looked like in the comics.
Yeah, because that's in the comics. I remember that. I was like, there's no Lex, but he's talking a lot of Lex shit.
Because it's Lex's brain inside of a different body. That was he was known as Lex Luthor Jr.
Fair enough.
Dumb.
More power to you if you love Superman, but this motherfucker is so weird, and everything around him is so weird, except for Lois Lane.
She's awesome. I think she's great.
I have nothing bad to say about her, except for when they give her purple eyes, or she does something stupid. She had purple eyes in this. Stupid, where she goes because I think it's because they kind of. She's drawn closely related, like looks wise to Wonder Woman.
It's a dark hair.
They have to give some sort of definition or displacement or what's the word? There's a D word I'm looking for. Maybe I just want to give Lois a D.
Yeah,
yeah, that works as well. Or when she makes stupid moves, like goes down to where the fight is and enters. I keep going to enters and
D's and enters.
See how that first Lex Luthor fucked me up?
Yeah.
Moving forward?
He's a beautiful human being.
He is a beautiful specimen, but I can't stand Superman. So now that let's put this into context to where we are in the real world now, because we've read comics where they've introduced Doomsday. We've seen, for the most part, enjoyable animated series where we've seen Doomsday. Now, we were blessed, and I'm doing finger quotes again, to have Doomsday hit the main screen.
Oh, you want to get into that, too.
Because we have
to. You just want to touch on it. Okay,
knowing what we know now about what this story really means to the mythos of Superman and his life moving forward, how much DC had dropped the ball in Batman vs Superman with just
it's fucking terrible.
Because they essentially tried to squeeze 6 movies and like
into one.
How many comic arcs into like 20 minutes of movie left of like, oh yeah,
Doomsday's here
and Lex Luthor created him and he's gonna kill Superman and Superman's not dead. Wait a minute, time out. You just introduced that Batman met Superman and Wonder Woman's here, and now you're just giving us...
Now it's Doomsday.
Like, this is beyond giving the kitchen sink. It's like, you don't understand what you have here, because this is such a good character moment for Superman.
Why you'd ever squish Doomsday into the ending of anything, I have no idea. You build the movie around him.
And squish it to, like, not even pay off for another movie, just to be like, oh no, he's here to kill this guy, and then we're going to kill him, and that's it. We're never going to talk about it again. It's like, ouch.
Yeah, and that's it.
Ouch.
And that's it.
And then your Lex is Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Who has the red hair, so maybe that's a nod to the Aussie.
Might be.
The Brain and somebody else.
Lex Luthor Jr.
So that's terrible. I don't recommend Batman vs Superman unless you want to hear Martha. Oh,
what a dumb fucking...
Are we going to do a bottom review of that?
Too bad. Maybe. Maybe.
Either way.
Nobody cares. 666.
What time is it?
666.
You have the time? You have the time, sir?
6:66.
By the time of the clock, it looks like it's time to keep 6.
F is for Family is the show we're talking about today. Netflix original.
Hilarious.
If you like Bill Burr, you probably like this show.
If you like funny, I should leave it at that. If you like funny, you should like this.
If you like funny, yeah. Animated show,
this
70s?
is this is a show that
60s.
Could easily enter itself in the animation domination of Fox.
And it gets funnier with every season.
Yeah, that it could run in their prime time when they had Futurama, Simpsons, like some of the seasons of Family Guy, American Dad.
Come and get your love.
King of the Hill. But
this takes underrated. Yeah.
Yes, this takes place in Bill Burrow's upbringing when he was a young boy.
It's based on his It's based on his dad. The character he plays is based on his dad.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who was obviously a working class father who never really had enough money to afford the 3 kids and kind of the lifestyle they were living, but made his way through the best he could. With the whole 70s ideal of like, you don't really need seatbelts. Like, there's all those fun little lessons of like, you don't need this. You just need to suck it up and be tougher, right?
Or he was the man of the house, right?
Right.
Like, he makes the money and then the wife's staying home, but that she wants to do her own thing.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole like civil rights in women's lives was starting to break during this time, which is great to see on screen, but in like a cartoon form. And then the fact that Bill Burrow's character is constantly the redheaded ginger that's always crying. Because either bully his brother, his sister, someone's picking on him, or his father's just smacking him around. He's like, I don't want it. Like his character, who he's supposed to be coming up, is always crying. It's hilarious.
Is that who? I didn't know that was supposed to be him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, he's not the space wizard that's like, no, Dad.
I didn't think any of the kids were based on him. I thought it was just that the dad was based on his dad,
and then like everyone's loosely based.
Okay, fair enough.
You've seen Bill Burrow.
Bill Burr.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to. I've been drinking. You know what color his hair used to be.
Yes.
He doesn't have any. There's only one character in that TV show that has remotely close to the same color hair.
Not guest, but co-stars.
Reoccurring.
Justin Long.
Sam Rockwell. As the neighbor. All right. Kind of a little bit of a...
He's my favorite character in the first season.
Him and Rosie.
Yeah. Rosie's awesome. Watch F is for Family.
Well, if you
have
it now, you can binge 3 seasons of it pretty fast.
Yeah, it's easy. The first season, if you didn't like it too much, it gets funnier every year.
Listen, we've recommended it, so you're watching all 3 fucking seasons.
Watch them.
F is for fucking family, maybe for fuck as well.
That's aggressive.
Well, so was the show.
666. This segment is called Heroes from a Hat. Where we take 2 heroes from this.
I think it's good for the theme song for this.
Yeah, it's great. From this hat. And we pit them against each other. I'm sorry so hard to just ignore it.
It's a long night.
This is round 2. We've done round 1, so we're taking 2 of the winners, and we're going to put them against each other in a race.
of some form.
A random race that we will pick up after.
Momentarily, because no looking at we're selecting our heroes now.
We're heroes.
But now we're going to select
Around
how they're actually going to battle.
Faddle? How they're going to faddle?
First they have fiddle faddle. First they get the fiddle faddle. They enjoy that. And then they're ready for this race.
This race is going to be on horseback.
Ooh.
It's a horseback race between Psylocke
I got Wonder
and
Man.
Wonder Man.
Damn it.
So this is interesting because...
Is it?
Yeah.
Is this interesting? Wonder Man's the worst.
He is. He is. So Psylocke, I'm assuming he weighs more than her.
Yeah, they've always drawn him as a big bodied, small head dude.
And that horse is gonna have a hard time compared to where her horse, since she's a normal weight.
She could mind fuck the horse and be like, yo, fuck this dude.
If we're going outside the box, yeah, she's gonna.
You keep saying going out the box. This is
in
the box.
No, but it's a race.
It's
and then,
comic book characters.
Yes.
Everything's in play, including that she wears swimwear to ride a horse.
She would too.
I actually have my uniform is more aptly for horses. It looks like I have those weird type of pants that jut out at the.
You're wearing jeans.
Not me.
Oh.
Wonder Man.
Like,
you fool.
You talking about the RCMP pants?
Yeah.
Like those?
They look like those.
Yeah.
And they're green. Last time I saw them.
Fuck Wonder Man.
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah, we're just giving it to Psylocke because.
Well, she won.
It
she
makes
would
sense.
win
No,
this.
she would win.
Well, we don't like Wonder Man.
No.
I wonder.
Who does?
Man. Yes. He stepped all over it.